valance is finished and the cardboard desert is gone. I hope you'll stay tuned for the February 2019 layout update. Hi, I'm glad you could join me today for the layout update for February 2019. This will be a brief update. The beginning of the year is the busiest for us at work, particularly February and March. But I did manage to steal away a few hours to work on the layout. So let's walk across the hall and take a look. So we'll start with the most eye-catching change. Valance is finished. For the valance and eventually the fascia, I'm using 3/16 inch tempered hardboard. This manufacturer calls it Yucca board. Not that it matters, that just happened to be the brand the home center carried. 4x8 sheets of this stuff was pretty obnoxious to handle. So I had the home center rip it into 10-inch wide strips for me, and I cut them to length at home on my table saw. I'm just attaching it to the wood supports using 1-inch wood screws. These aren't structural support members, so this will be more than plenty to hold them up. The board is a nominal 3/16 inches thick. Actually, it works out to about 0.115. So I didn't bother trying to countersink the screws and hide the screw heads. So I used round-headed screws with a washer behind them. Once all the pieces were up, I went through and cleaned up the corners with a little spackle. I'm using the lightweight, fast and final spackle by DAP. And after I filled in all the corners and let it dry, it just needed a very light sanding to clean them up. After that, a couple quick coats of black paint and the valance was finished. With the valance finished, I moved on to cutting the templates for the sub road bed, which I just hung up here to keep out of harm's way. With all the sub road bed worked out, I was able to finalize the terrain elevations along the back walls so that I'll be able to paint my back scenes. I wasn't planning on doing this yet, but I came across these LED strip lights on Amazon. They're 6,000 Kelvin lights, which is wider than I intend to use for the layout. And I actually have something else in mind anyhow. But I do have another purpose in mind for these. So I decided to pick them up now and use them as temporary lights for the layout, just so I can use them during construction. These strips are 16.4 feet or 5 meters long, which is not quite long enough to go completely around the valance, but it's far enough that it'll provide plenty of light to work on the entire layout surface. I bought 2 strips of them because I figured one wasn't going to provide quite enough light. They attach easily. There's just double-sided tape attached to the back of the strip. You peel off the protective covering and press it down. And the adhesive works really well even on the coarse backing of the tempered hardboard. So I just ran it along the back of the valance from pretty much one end to the other, just ended up being about 6 feet or so short. Here is the light provided by one strip of the LEDs. This was filmed with just the LED light strip lights on, No other lights, no studio lights. So this is a pretty accurate view of the light that's actually produced. It provides good coverage, but it's not quite bright enough for what I wanted. So I put up the second strip, and I'm very pleased with the light I'm getting now. It's full coverage and plenty of illumination, so this will work out well for construction. So that brings us up to the end of February. This month at work wasn't as hectic as it could have been, and unfortunately that really doesn't bode well for March. But I have gotten a running start. I got all of the panels I need to paint the back scenes. They've all been cut and got a couple coats of primer. And we had an unseasonably warm Saturday afternoon, so I took advantage of it, went out in the back porch, and started cutting some of the sub-road bed. So hopefully the weather and my schedule will cooperate, and I'll get some progress on the layout for March. I hope to see you next time. Till then.